Well, we'd like to welcome you all to this webinar. As Mark mentioned, we'll be hearing from 7 posts. 3 of them are medium-sized posts, and the other 4 are large-sized posts. You'll be hearing about a wide variety of programs. Of course, the programs are dependent about what you have available in your area. But I think you'll get a lot of great ideas from all these programs that all of these posts are working. So we'll proceed on and start with our first post, which is the Greater Kansas City Post. Tony?
Great, thanks, Dick. I want to first and foremost welcome everybody to the webinar. Thanks to Mark, Dick, and Sherlyn for putting this together and your efforts. A little bit about my background and our post background. I'll go to the various slides here first. Let's see. I think I need... Hey, Mark, could you hand me the ability to move slides, please, or somebody? There we go. Dick, can you see the slides right now?
Yeah, you've got the ball now.
Okay, great, thanks. A little bit about my background. I'm with the Greater Kansas City Post of SAME. I was a former post president there in our post from 2011 to 2012. Now a committee chair for our Warrior Transition Committee, which I'll talk about. In conjunction with SAME National, one of our goals in the post is to assist veterans, and I'll go into some of that assistance here in a few minutes. My current position is the Director of Public Works for the City of Overland Park, Kansas. I guess more importantly, my background, I'm a former military officer who transitioned out of the military in 2013. My last assignment was the District Commander of the Kansas City District of the Army Corps of Engineers. Why that's important is simply I had gone through the transition process and thought, hey, I think we could do some improvements and our post could make a significant contribution to transitioning veterans. And we came up with a different idea of doing some things. Previously, we were doing a lot of feel-good things, handing out professional sports tickets for, say, the Kansas City Chiefs, Kansas City Royals, which was great. But we felt we could make a more significant difference in actually impacting, in this case, folks who are transitioning out of the military to assist them in the process of getting into the civilian sector. So my goal today is pretty simple. It's to explain our program, answer any questions that folks may have, and to share any lessons learned for those posts that are near military installations and may want to engage in a similar type program in the future. First slide you can see is just a little bit about the Kansas City Post. I won't go into any extensive detail on that, but we are a large post and have been around since 1931 and are engaged as all the various SAME posts are. Here's our committee. Basically, there's our mission statement, and it's really to develop an effective strategy, as it says, to educate, train, educate, mentor, and assist members of the military who are or will be transitioning out of the military. So again, our goal, it's not a job fair, it's not a recruiting effort, it simply is to engage with those soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines that are transitioning out of the military and to help them wrap their head around the transition process and to assist them as best we can from the Greater Kansas City Post. So then the next question becomes, how do you do that? What's our method of doing that? And next slide, you'll see a picture. That's one of our engagement sessions. I'll go into some detail on how we do this. That one was from April of this year at Fort Riley, Kansas. You can see the big red one. It's the 1st Infantry Division, and an attendance of about 75 soldiers with a panel comprised of a moderator, me, and a panel of existing SAME members from the Greater Kansas City Post. So our method for doing this is to have former folks who have, former military folks, regardless of service, Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, from our post that are engaged and want to serve as panel members and have gone through the transition process. Our goal is for the military members to be able to visualize somebody and engage with somebody who's actually gone through that process, maybe at or near a similar rank, and to have a meaningful discussion about their experience in the transition process to assist them. It's an open dialogue, typically a 3-hour session. I know that sounds like a long time, but not once in the various panels that we've done have we come to a lull where there's not meaningful discussion that's assisting the transitioning military member. We also are going to start peer group breakout sessions after a general session. What that means is if you're of a particular rank, we'll have panel members that lead that discussion with those ranks so they can relate directly to the transition that that member has gone through, the SAME member's gone through, and to give them some guidance. Likewise, one of the big keys to our success has been coordinating directly with the military installation leadership at Fort Riley, Kansas, and Fort Leavenworth, Kansas for the Army installations. We're starting with Whiteman Air Force Base here in the near future. But without the military installation leadership support, it's virtually, it makes it very difficult for us to do that because they help logistically getting the transitioning military member to these sessions. And a secondary goal is also obviously to promote SAME, the networking and the mentoring that we provide as a professional organization. In our end state, again, there it is. You see the 5 bullets. Assist and inform transitioning veterans about the process of transitioning in the civilian sector. One of the things that really spurred our interest is the unemployment rate amongst folks who've been in the military for about 4 years and are getting out, say age, I don't know, anywhere from 22 to 30. The unemployment rate of those veterans is double national average. So I'm not talking about folks who've got 20 years in and have retired like me. It's really to get to the root of that challenge, that dynamic, to assist those folks that are going to be going out and right now having a high unemployment rate getting into the civilian sector. So we want to try to address that early and help them with this transition process. Likewise, we want to expand interest in career fields associated with our post and sustaining member firms. It's a professional networking opportunity. Our panel members are all of either public or private sector engineering firms here in the Kansas City metro area, former military that have made that transition, and it allows the military member directly or indirectly to engage in a professional networking opportunity. And a lot of those folks have not had the opportunity to do that before. We also offer mentorship and professional development. A lot of business cards are exchanged that some of our folks become mentors to the transitioning military member to assist them long term. That has happened. And then we want to obviously inform attendees about SAME in general and promote the organization both from a national perspective and a regional perspective with our post. We've completed the following, April of 2014, at Fort Riley, Kansas, had about 30 folks show up. April 27th of this year, we had about 75, and our next one will be on the 25th of August, and we're expecting probably 100 to 150 soldiers to show up for that, soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, primarily Army at Fort Riley. And the installation wants us to do this every quarter, and we have kind of signed up to do that. Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, we try to do two per year. You have a different clientele, so to speak, a lot of more mid to upper level officers and non-commissioned officers there. It's not a troop post per se. Our next one there will be in August 26th, and we expect probably 40 to 50 to show up for that. Recently, we've engaged with Whiteman Air Force Base, which is just east of Kansas City, and we've had meaningful discussions with them in the last couple of weeks, and we're projecting a fall 2015 panel and seminar there as well. participant comments are there. These have been very well received by the participants, and I think we're meeting our end state of having a meaningful discussion, and folks walking out of those seminars and panel seminars scratching their head saying, wow, I hadn't thought about that during my transition process, and it allows them then to plan accordingly before going back into the civilian sector. And that's my contact information, the very last slide. More than willing to answer any questions and provide any lessons learned. I know that's a big piece for SAME, and Mark and Dick have reiterated that. I'm here to answer any questions you may have either now or in the near future, but it's been a pretty successful program, and we're passionate about what we do on this. And I guess I'll turn it back over to Dick and Mark at this point.
Thank you very much, Sherilyn. My name is Tavis Hanley. I work for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers with the Louisville District.